Coming up on Backyard Science, giving your kite the ultimate lift.
How to pick the biggest apple.
And a sneaky way to trap all sorts of creatures. A disaster at sea. Can we raise the wreck?
A nice glass of milk with a nasty surprise.
And attack of the zapping finger. Someone's in for a shock. Run away! Run away!
No running here. This is Backyard Science. We get to the bottom of mysteries no matter how scary they look.
Right now there's a scary situation brewing at sea.
It's a dark and stormy night, and the good ship Backyard Science is fighting heavy seas. The waves are crashing all around. Oh man. Too much wave action, I think. Looks like a drop for the Super Scooper. It keeps sliding. I can't get it. We need something to dive down and grab the ship and come back up. Something like a submarine. And I think I might just have enough junk to make one.
The zapper has the victim in his sights. She doesn't even know he's coming. Closer, closer. Just one more step. Strike. You're gonna pay for that.
By rubbing your feet along the carpet, you pick up lots of negatively charged electrons. If you bring that charge close to another person, it jumps across, giving them a zap.
It's called static electricity.
But there's more than one way to use static electricity. If I rub my comb with a woolen cloth, I can charge it up too. If I bring it in close to the water, it's bending. My charged up comb is attracting the water. What about bits of paper? I can even make a ping pong ball move without touching it. Static electricity is powerful stuff. There's no way I can breathe underwater. At least, not without a little help from my snorkel. But fish do it with no problem at all. So there must be oxygen in there. I think the plants put it in. I've got an idea how to find out for sure. Just need a pond plant or two. Mum won't miss this little bit. Now, while my fish are off at the movies, I'll borrow their tanks. Put the plants in and cover them up with a big glass bowl. I just have to sit back and watch. There, tiny bubbles.
Unlike people, plants don't breathe in oxygen. They breathe it out. That's what those little bubbles are. They dissolve in the water and give the fish something to breathe.
Good trick, that. Can you imagine a fish in a snorkel?
All those tiny bubbles. And funnily enough, bubbles might come in handy for our underwater salvage team.
I know how to make a tiny diver. Maybe that'll help rescue our ship. You just take an ordinary pen cap and put some modelling clay on the end. You drop it in a bottle of water, catching a bubble of air in the top of the cap. I can make the diver do anything I want. I can make it dive, I can make it surface. When I squeeze the bottle, I'm forcing water into the cap, squashing the bubble, and the diver sinks. When I let go, the bubble gets bigger again and the diver rises.
We're going to need something a lot bigger to rescue our boat.
I'm working on that, and I think I might just have an idea.
Phew, hot day. Time for a nice cold drink.
This is going to be so good. Shame you didn't get one.
Hey,
Yum.
can I have a bite? Science to the rescue. I bet you your ice cream that I can move water from this glass into that one without touching either.
I don't think so.
Put your popsicle where your mouth is then.
I'd like to see you fail first. The bet's on.
Right then. I'll just twist this piece of absorbent paper. This will do the job for me. Watch and weep, my friend.
There are thousands of tiny spaces in the fibre of the paper, and the water moves into them and advances along the twisted material.
Trees do the same thing. That's how water gets to the treetops. This movement is known as capillary action.
That's how trees move water from their roots up through tree trunks and into the leaves.
And look, what have we here? Water has moved from one glass to the other. Orange. My favorite.
I'm gonna cause an eruption right here. It won't exactly move mountains, but it'll be quite a blast. Start with an old bottle. Coat the bottom in a layer of baking soda. And a touch of glitter for fun. Get a quarter of a cup of vinegar. Mix in some dishwashing soap for bubbles and some red food colouring for effect. Now carefully pour it in the bottle. Stand back, she's gonna blow. And that's my volcano.
One of the most famous volcanoes is Mount St. Helens in Washington State, USA. In May 1980, a huge eruption blasted 23 square miles of rock off the mountain. It felled trees as far as 17 miles away. Scientists say it will happen again, but they don't know when. Time to take cover.
What better place than underwater? And I think the Salvage team is getting to the bottom of how to get down there.
This bottle ought to do the trick. First, I'll cut in some holes. They should let water in to make it heavy and sink. We'll need a hook to grab onto the sunken wreck. If I attach this balloon to the end of a long tube, put it inside the submarine. Now just stick it in place with some modelling clay. That's it, she's finished. Now the clever bit. The balloon should act like the bubble in the diver. Blow air in, the balloon gets bigger and it should rise to the surface. Let air out, the balloon gets smaller and it should sink. I think we are in the salvage business.
Real submarines actually have two hulls, an outside shell and an inside shell. When they want to dive, they pump water into huge ballast tanks between the two hulls. That makes the sub heavier and so it sinks. When they want to surface, they blow the water out with compressed air.
Uh-oh, that's a bad idea. She's forgotten the milk and cookies. A few hours in the hot sun, and interesting things start to happen to milk. She shouldn't really be doing this. Somebody really should tell her. She's not gonna like this. Don't do it.
Oh, yuck, it curdled. Milk curdles in warm air. That's because the sugar in the milk changes into an acid and forms white lumps. The lumpy stuff is called curds, and the thin watery liquid is called whey.
There's another way of doing the same gross thing. Just pour in some vinegar. It takes a few minutes. The acid in the vinegar made the milk curdle. In fact, the hardest part is getting rid of that taste.
Curdled milk? That's disgusting.
Get a grip, Dana. Take a deep breath. That's what the salvage team is going to have to do to get that ship up.
We've made our submarine to reach the sunken ship. First, a test run. If we let air out of the balloon, water fills the bottle. It sinks. Blow the balloon up. Up she comes. Now to attempt the daring rescue. Let the air out. Down she goes. Carefully. Now up a bit. Missed it. Down again. Got it! Bring her up! We did it! Our salvage sub worked! Great! Now let's see if we can sink the ship again. Oh yeah.
My friend Ben has a fixation with wanting to fly. Right now he's superhero crazy. Look at his ridiculous red cape. I bet he wishes he could just take off. At least Superman could fly. That's more than you could say for Ben's kite. Poor Ben. He gets so down in the dumps when his kites don't work. Mustn't laugh. I think it's time to give him a helping hand. Sophie to the rescue.
There are thousands of different types of kites. People began making them in China at least 3,000 years ago. Some designs are really elaborate, but all kites work on the same principle. They are pushed upwards by deflecting the wind downwards. Kites like these are designed for very precise movement. That means they can be used for stunt tricks, like flying in formation. Other kites are designed to catch the wind so well, they can even be launched from the water. Now wouldn't Ben and Sophie be envious of that?
Alex reckons I can't work out the height of this tree. I'm sure I can. He can be so annoying sometimes, but all I've got to work with is him and our yellow stick. Alex reckons we can measure it if we cut it down. Yeah, right. Just between you and me, I think the stick might be more useful. But hang on, I think I just might be onto something. Maybe Alex wasn't so silly after all. Have you worked it out?
Okay, here goes. I know there are lots of creatures out there that I never see. Time to find out what they are. I've got a secret weapon, the perfect way to outsmart those wild beasts. Dig a hole, just deep enough, lined with a smooth, slippery bowl. And bait the trap with a tasty morsel or two. They won't be able to resist. This little roof will keep out the sun and rain. And I'm not stopping at one trap. I'll need a few to catch my quarry. And now I'll make myself scarce. Don't want to get caught in the stampede. Ah, my first catch! The orange has attracted a huge beetle. And I've trapped a gorgeous centipede. And these beasts couldn't resist the banana. Looks like this is the best trapping spot. These are called pit traps. But remember, the animals can't get out on their own, so they'll need some help. I wonder what I could catch with this piece of dried meat. We'll see tomorrow. This should be good. Now what eats meat around here? Ah, scorpion! Too dangerous for me.
As usual, Blake and I both want to eat the biggest apple. But we can't agree on which one it is. They're all about the same size, but I don't want him to have the largest. Blake reckons he can tell, but as usual, what I think doesn't seem to matter. Anyway, in my opinion, that's the biggest. And then this. And that's the smallest. But I'm still not 100% sure. The yellow one is taller, but is it actually bigger overall? We'll settle it once and for all. I'll just see if I can find something to measure the apples with. Oh, what's Blake doing? That gives me an idea. We'll have to improvise. I'll round up a few bits and pieces that'll do the trick. Let the great apple sizing experiment begin.
Curious. I wonder how Ty's going to make that work.
Well, I wonder if Sophie's going to come up with a kite that'll actually stay up in the air.
Poor old Ben's kites don't work very well. I think the idea is to have a shape that catches as much wind as possible. My design's gonna sort that out. It's really easy to make. What we're gonna end up with is a kite that looks like this. Here's how you make it. Lay out a rectangular piece of plastic garbage bag. Stick down 2 pieces of thin wood, about 1/4 of the way in, from each side. Mark a triangle around the outside of the wood and cut the plastic so your kite looks like this. On the tip of the triangle, fix some tape to make it stronger and punch a hole. Thread a piece of string about 1 meter long through the 2 holes. In the middle of that piece of string, attach another 4 meter long length of string. Here's a kite that'll catch a lot of wind. Now watch the expert at work. There's more to kite flying than I thought. I don't think the shape's the problem. I think we have to work out a better way to catch that wind.
You'd be amazed at how much wind well-designed kites can catch. These kites are strong enough to pull sand skiers along a beach, and even strong enough to take sand yachts for a bit of a spin. Some kites catch enough wind power to lift people right off the ground. But what goes up must come down. Alex has challenged me to find out the height of this tree. All I've got to help me is this stick and him. But I think I can do it. All I need to do is line up the top and bottom of this stick with the top and bottom of the tree. And turn the stick sideways. Now if Alex stands at the same distance as the tree, and he's right at the end... Stop! Don't move! Now all I need to do is measure from where Alex is to the tree.
My steps are about a metre long. 18, 19, 20. The tree is 20 metres high. Ta-da!
That's much smarter than cutting the tree down, Jason.
It sure is, Dana. And I think Ty has a pretty clever way of measuring those apples. Must be clever. I've got no idea how she'll do it.
Blake doesn't realise it yet, but I'm going to show him her tricky way to find out which is the biggest, roundest apple. I'll fill up this container right to the very top. Put an apple all the way in. Don't stick your fingers in. See? Some of the water spills over the top into the tray. I've got to make sure I catch every drop of water and put it in the glass and mark how much water there is. That's how much water was pushed out by the red apple. Prop the container back up and in goes the yellow apple. Quite a bit more. It's the green apple's turn. Make sure it goes all the way in. So there's our answer. Green is the smallest, red is the next biggest, and yellow is the biggest of them all.
Ty's clever idea works because of something called displacement. The amount of water pushed out of the bowl is exactly equal to the volume of each apple. The more water, the larger the apple.
Here's another scientific principle. Survival of the fastest.
Imagine a world with only 3 colours. Well, it's true. There are only 3 simple or primary colours. And I'm going to prove it to you. Look at all these colours. I'll show you how they're made. If I sort the colours out, then pour a tiny amount of water in with them, the dye should start to come off. It takes a while though, so be patient. They're ready! I need some absorbent paper. These bits of coffee filters will do. They'll suck up the dye and separate it into the colours it's made from. You can see that the yellow ones are made only with the yellow dye, and the red is made with only red. They're both primary colours, but the purple dye separates into red and blue, our third primary colour. And the brown is made up of all the 3 primary colours, red, yellow and blue. In fact, with the right amounts of the primary colours, you can make any colour, which is just as well because I like them all.
Well, that's one thing to do with colours. Now let's see if Sophie and Ben can get their kite up and flying.
I can't believe my kite didn't get off the ground. I thought I'd done everything right. We need to figure out which direction the strongest wind gusts are coming from. Looks like Ben's had an idea. We could use his pillow slip as a wind sock. Whichever way the pillow slip billows out is the direction the wind's coming from.
Wind socks show wind directions at airports. They also warn parachutists if they're going to be blown off course. Wind socks come in all shapes and sizes, but they all work pretty much in the same way.
And now I know which way to launch my kite. I need to have the kite facing into the wind. That way it catches the full force of the breeze. Yay, it's flying!
If you want to keep your kite up in the air, it's important to keep your flying line tight. If the flying line becomes slack, bring in some line until you feel the tension again.
Woohoo! It's flying!
Unlike Superman here, kites defy gravity when they stay up in the air.
At least now Superman's getting a bit of flying time, even if his feet are still on the ground.
Just as well it wasn't blowing a gale, or Superman really might have taken off.
Now that would have been a backyard science adventure to remember. See you next time.
making tasty ice cream without a freezer.
How bugs like to travel in the air.
And the bouncing ball that always comes back.
Something smells good, but how will Lucas find his lunch?
Are you a super taster? Here's one way to find out.
And John renovates his room. All he has to do is choose a colour.
Welcome to Backyard Science, the show that finds the smart way to do just about anything.
But first, Lucas has a problem, and it all starts with his nose.
Food! I smell food! Oh, it smells good. Someone's cooked up a treat. But where's it coming from? I reckon I could smell food half a mile away. It's still out there, somewhere. Not under here. A hungry boy never gives up. Nothing. It must be over here. There's food somewhere out there. I know it. But I just can't see it. What this starving boy needs is a telescope. These lenses will do the trick. Ah, cardboard. Perfect. And some scissors and tape. Now, where was I? These magnifying glasses should make things look bigger. That's because the glass is thicker in the middle. Whoa, it makes things look upside down. I've got to figure out the best length to make my telescope. So I need to get the best image from these two lenses. Put one of the lenses close to your eye, and the other one you move away from the eye. Like this. That's it. The perfect distance. Cut the card to that length. Roll it up, stick it together, and then fit in the two lenses. Not bad. A quick and easy homemade telescope. Now I'll be able to spot where that delicious food smell is coming from. It's got to be out there somewhere.
Lucas's telescope is just a small one, but take a look at these. This one's so big, it's got its own door. Big telescopes use huge lenses. They also capture images not just of light, but faint electrical signals from way off in the universe. They're so powerful that they can capture really clear images of what other stars and galaxies look like.
We've got a stack of potatoes to peel. My sister's not too impressed. Maybe juggling will impress her. Maybe not. Hey, the forks! Watch this. If you make a slit in the side of the potato, stick a fork into it. Keep doing this until you get a whole chain of potatoes, all held together by forks. Looks weird, but it gets weirder. Carefully hang the potatoes over the edge of a table. Notice something? They're balancing.
What's going on? What happened to gravity? You'd think the center of gravity, the point on which the potatoes balance, should be there. But it can't be. The center of gravity of our potatoes is there.
So what happens if I add more weight to our balancing potatoes? Look out. I think I just lost the center of gravity.
Margot hates drinking milk, but I'm going to show why Mum nags us to drink it, even if some of us don't like it. Take some leftover pieces of roast chicken, grab some of the bones, and wash them. Then dry them. This is tougher than I thought. Now for the next step. I'm going to tip some vinegar into a jar and pop in some of the bones. When we come back a few days later, look at what's happened to the bones. They're all soft and bendy.
Like our bones, chicken bones have a mineral called calcium in them to make them hard. Vinegar is an acid strong enough to dissolve the calcium in the bone. Without calcium, there's nothing to keep the bone hard.
So my mum is right. You need calcium to keep your bones and teeth strong. And milk is full of calcium, so we better drink up.
Thanks, Sophie. I think I see what you're getting at. Let's see if Lucas is putting his telescope to better use.
It's amazing what 2 magnifying glasses, some sticky tape and a bit of coloured cardboard can end up looking like. This homemade telescope should be the answer to my lack of lunch. With a view like this, surely that smell is no longer safe from my hungry clutches. Aha! Sophie and Margot. But what are they eating? This is driving me mad. I need to get closer. Oh, but I can't see over the fence. But I know something that can look over fences. What I need is a periscope. I'll need a milk carton and a couple of mirrors. I'll cut a hole at the top on one side of the carton. And a small hole to look through on the other side of the bottom. Now, make some slits at the side and slide in the mirrors. Make sure the shiny sides face each other. Now to put it to the test. Light is bounced from the top mirror to the bottom one and into my eyes. It's like being a foot taller. Soon that food will be mine.
Periscopes have been used on submarines for more than 100 years. Today there are even periscopes on remote-controlled spy submarines. With no one on board to look through the periscope, the images are sent to a camera and recorded, or sent back to dry land.
I know we taste food with our taste buds, but what are they? I've promised Ben a reward if he helps me out. A little food colouring on his tongue shows the little bumps where the taste buds live.
We actually have about 10,000 taste buds. Each bud has about 100 taste receptor cells inside.
Now I've heard we taste different things in different parts of our tongue. Now this is salty water. Tell me where you taste it. So he seems to taste salt most strongly here and here, at the front of his tongue. Now what about some lemon juice? Yep, that was a sour one. He tasted that at the sides of his tongue, towards the back. Let's try tonic water. Right at the back for bitter. Now what about sweet? This is sugar and water. He can taste that right on the front tip of his tongue.
The middle of your tongue doesn't have many taste buds at all. But by sensing salt, sweet and sour, and bitter, we can taste thousands of flavours.
Okay, you're done. Here's your payment. Now this is what tongues are for.
Looks like Ben and Angelique have got that one licked, Dana.
Yes, Jason, they seem pretty happy with themselves, but I think John needs a little cheering up.
I'm over my bedroom. I'm sick of plain old green. I need a change, but I don't know which colour to choose. To help me decide, I'm going to make my own colour panel. Now when I overlap these two plastic sheets, I get another colour. With this red sheet, the same thing happens. Now what's amazing is that with just these three colours, red, blue and yellow, I can make just about any colour I like. To make a colour panel, measure some strips on your plastic sheets and cut them up. You'll need blue, yellow and red, which are known as the primary colours. Stick these to a piece of white card, one after the other. When you mix primary colours, you get secondary colours. So if I lay a yellow sheet of plastic over the blue, I'll get green. See? Now as I complete my colour panel, the layers of plastic are producing all sorts of weird and wonderful colours. By adding more layers on top, the number of colours keeps on rising. It's just mind-boggling how many there are. So now I should be able to choose. I can't decide. But maybe I don't have to. Yes, I like it. I'll never get sick of these colours.
Looks like John needs to be a little more decisive to me. But I know someone who knows exactly what he wants. Food.
If this can't help me find my lunch, I'll starve. There they are. Oh, look at that pasta. And there's still some left. Hey girls, let me have some, please. Oh, go on. I'm wasting away over here. I haven't eaten for hours.
What's he doing?
It's a periscope.
I guess he deserves some food for all that effort.
Ah, they can have it. There's nothing more important than food.
I don't know what those girls are laughing about, but I hope they stand there until I finish their ice cream. It tastes delicious. It was so good of them to leave it for me. That was good. Uh-oh, here's trouble. How can I get out of this one? How about I show you how to make your own ice cream? Then you'll never run out.
Wrapping presents again. It's no fun when they're not for me. I need a lift. Whoa, that works. How about the paper? That gives me an idea. I'll need some tissue paper, some scissors, a scarf, and a metal tray. Now if I cut out some little figures from tissue paper, put them on the metal plate, then rub the balloon with the scarf. Watch what happens to my little people. They're dancing!
The balloon becomes electrically charged when it's rubbed with a woolen scarf. It attracts the dancers and also charges them. After a while, they fall down. Then they're attracted all over again.
As long as I keep rubbing, they'll keep dancing. It's cheaper than batteries.
Liam and Di are competing to see who can make the best mummy. Round 1 definitely goes to Liam, but I've got a feeling I'm going to win round 2. I'm going to need a baking tray, a scaled and gutted fish, and lots of Epsom salts. The salt will suck all the moisture out of the fish. I have to make sure it's completely covered. In a couple of weeks, that fish there is going to be as stiff as an old Egyptian pharaoh.
Ancient Egyptians had mummy making down to a fine art. They even made mummies of their pets. Before the bodies were wrapped from top to toe in strips of linen, body parts were packed and covered in salt. The salt kept the body tissues dry and helped preserve the mummies for thousands of years.
Okay, it's been 2 weeks. Let's see how my fish is doing. It's pretty solid. Yep, it's well and truly mummified. The Epsom salts have drawn moisture from the outside and the inside of the fish. And it doesn't even smell. I wonder what that Liam's up to. What's the matter? Afraid of a little mummy, are we?
I'm going to try that at home, Dana. You want to help me?
No thanks, Jason. I think making ice cream's more my style. Let's see how Ben's doing.
Okay, girls. To make ice cream, you'll need cream, milk, drinking chocolate and sugar, a bowl, some spoons, and whatever yummy stuff you want to put into it. Perfect. Now, mix together 2 spoons of drinking chocolate powder, 1 spoon of sugar, 4 spoons of milk, and 2 spoons of cream. And stir. Don't forget to put in all those yummy extra bits. Now, the trick is to turn that goo into ice cream. And we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, before refrigerators were born. We need a bowl of ice and lots of it. And salt.
The salt will help make the ice cream set. Seems odd, but it works. We'll see why later.
Put the ice cream mixture in the bowl, on top of the salted ice cubes. Put a towel over the bowl. Now you need to stir it every few minutes. But mostly, you wait. These two are feeling really rotten. Joseph was sick first, and then John got sick. It always seems to happen that way. One person gets a bug, then it travels to someone else. How did it get there? Yuck! A rotten apple. Maybe the sick apple could infect another. If I take some of the bugs from here and put them into a healthy apple, we'll see if it gets sick. Give it a few jabs. Let's see what's happened. The sick apple is still sick. And look at the other one. It's starting to go bad too. Right where I gave it the bug injections. The disease has travelled.
It's the same with people. Germs can spread through touching hands or sharing cups with a sick person, but they also spread through the air when a person sneezes.
Yuck! And with all those bugs around here, looks like Al needs some looking after now. again. Germany always beats me. It can't be my fault. I blame the ball. The ball never bounces up in the same position. It always spins a little after it's hit the ground. I think it's because the basketball grips the ground when it hits. See, it has a sticky, rubbery surface. Basketball's not really my sort of game, but I'm never going to win at anything unless I can figure out about the bounce of the ball. Let's have a try. I'll use these bricks and some perspex to make a bouncing test tunnel. My first guinea pig, a tennis ball. If I throw the ball through the tunnel, I'll see if it grips and spins. Nope, the tennis ball goes through pretty easily. The furry surface of the ball doesn't have much grip. It skids off the perspex rather than spinning. And now for my next test, the bouncing super ball. It's got a surface a bit more like my basketball. Now that's different. It comes back to me. No matter how hard I try, I can't bounce it through the tunnel. It must be because of the surface of the bouncing rubber ball. It looks smooth, but it feels sticky. So when it bounces on the perspex, it grips and spins back. Okay, now I'll be a master of ball control.
Daniela in a ridiculous white coat and big glasses and boring lectures about things that no one's interested in. Each water molecule contains 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen atom, and there's an empty space between each water molecule. For goodness sake, all she means is that water has holes in it. We've got a glass filled with hot water, right to the top. Who thinks it's going to overflow if I tip anything else in? I'll buy an ice cream for everyone if I make a mess. This calls for a steady hand. There, a whole teaspoon of sugar. You'd think the water would overflow, but the sugar has dissolved into the invisible holes in the water, so it takes up less space. My piggy bank is saved! No ice creams! That's it! Back to you, Professor. Let's get out of here while we can.
That's amazing. So when a cup's full, it's not really full, is it?
That's right. But when an ice cream tub's empty, it really is empty. Let's see if Ben can fill it up again.
We have to keep stirring the ice cream every few minutes. That keeps the ice crystal small and makes it creamy. Yum! The girls have been waiting for ages. It's very nearly crunch time. Okay, girls, what have we got? Ice cream!
This is how they used to make ice cream freeze in the good old days. By itself, ice melts at 0 degrees C, but add salt and the temperature goes much lower. That makes the temperature of the cream drop too, so it becomes frozen ice cream. The towel stops warm air from flowing into the chilled bowl. Not bad, huh? Your own freezer.
And one more interesting fact about this ice cream. If you eat it now, you've both been infected with boys' germs. Thanks for the ice cream, lady. Good thing you know how to make your own now.
Ah, Ben, I'm not sure that was such a smart move.
Let's hope he's a fast runner. See you next time on Backyard Science.